Hello, and welcome to Teens Recycle TV. I'm your host, Mikayla Wiseman.
And I'm her co-host, Brandy Roberts.
And here today, we have our guest, Miss Lesley Carter. Hello, Miss Lesley.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. Miss Lesley is in partnership with the Clean Air Campaign. Now, Miss Lesley, please tell us, what is the Clean Air Campaign?
Well, we're a Georgia organization that tries to clean up the air by getting people to drive less, basically. We started in 1996 around the time that the Atlanta Olympics were happening. A lot of cities, when they have the Olympics, get concerned about the air quality for the athletes. London had a drive for clean air. Beijing 4 years ago had a drive for clean air. So the Clean Air Campaign came out of Atlanta's drive for clean air. We put out a statewide initiative, a Metro Atlanta initiative for people to drive less, and it really made a difference. So after the Olympics were over, we stuck around.
That's fascinating, Miss Lesley. How are you involved with schools and children our own age?
Well, we have a lot of programs that try to get people to reduce pollution by driving less. So on a school level, that looks like getting kids to ride the bus, getting people to carpool to school, and getting people to stop idling. When we say idling, we mean sitting in your car with the engine running. It's better to just turn the engine off because you're not just sitting there generating pollution. Pollution, which, by the way, you're not even getting any distance in return for. You're just burning up gas. It's a hard sell in August in Georgia because people want to run the air conditioner, but it does make a huge difference for air pollution. So we try to get schools to get involved in that.
Very fascinating, Miss Lesley. We can't see bad air quality, so why is it important?
Well, you can't see it, but air pollution comes from a mixture of chemicals in the air that are really harmful to your lungs and to your air passages if you breathe them in. If you have asthma, as so many people do, air pollution can trigger an attack, and those can be very serious. And certain chemicals like ground level ozone, when you inhale them, it's almost like you get a sunburn on your lungs. So it's not healthy. It's better to reduce than to keep breathing it in.
That's really cool, Miss Lesley. We hear the word smog a lot, but what is it exactly?
Well, the word came from a combination between smoke and fog, but that's not exactly what it is. It really refers to that mixture of chemicals I was just telling you about. In Georgia, our biggest offenders are ozone and particle pollution, which is like dust and car exhaust and mixtures of just tons of tiny little particles that attach to the walls of your lungs and cause damage. I brought something to show you guys. You wanna feel that?
Oh, how heavy is this?
That's actually a pound. This is a pound of pollution. And we like to bring this around to show because every mile that you drive puts a pound of pollution into the air. And that's a big deal. And when you think about the population of Atlanta, for instance, how many people do we have here? Several million? And all of those people driving to work every morning and driving home from work every night are putting millions and millions of pounds of pollution into the air every single day. But if we ride together, if we take the bus or if we carpool or we ride in a van together, then it's less. And that makes a big difference.
I didn't know that. How do you know when the air quality is bad?
We have a system to measure it, actually, and our website, cleanaircampaign.org, actually lets you sign up for email alerts when the air is going to be bad. We measure it in colors. I brought something else to show you guys. This is our Clean Air Bear. He's our little mascot, and he's showing the colors we have for air pollution. So on a green day, that means the air quality is good. It's healthy. If it's yellow, that means it's okay. If it's orange, it's unhealthy for some people, people with asthma, people with allergies. If it's red, it's bad, and if it's purple, it's very bad. So that's the system that we use to measure the air quality.
That's really cool. Let's talk about some of the programs and how kids get involved.
Okay. Well, I already talked about idling, so I'll start with that one. No Idling is the most popular program we have in schools because it's the easiest one to implement. You know, just get people to turn off their engines. We also have programs we call Pool to School and Ride the Bus for Clean Air. Pool to School is just what it sounds like. We try to get families to connect with each other within the same schools to ride carpools and then reduce the number of cars on the road. Ride the Bus, getting kids to ride the bus. It's not trendy, but it does a lot for air quality because how many kids ride a bus? Like 30, 35? That's 35 cars that aren't on the road. That's a really big deal. So those are our three main programs: No Idling, Pool to School, and Ride the Bus in schools. We also just started a new high school program called Get There Green, where we offer high schoolers the opportunity to look at the traffic and transportation and air pollution problems in their school zone and try to come up with a plan to correct it themselves. And we give them a year and we give them a small budget to come up with ideas to really motivate their classmates to drive less and help the air. And another program we just started called Breathe Easy addresses the no idling pool to school and ride the bus programs I mentioned. That one's targeted at kids in grades 4 through 8, and we give them instructions for starting those programs and let them make it their own in their own schools. So that's how schools get involved. They really have the opportunity to make it fit the identity of their school.
I didn't know that. You also have a cool new innovative called On Air. What is that?
On Air is a new website we've opened just for teenagers. We really wanted to invite teens into this discussion about air quality and helping the earth. And so we've created a community for them, a sort of landing page at our blog, blogonair.org. And blogonair.org is a website. It's got a lot of cool features. We have a blog that's written mostly by students around your age, and it has discussion boards. The heart of the site really is this tool we've developed called AirCreds. AirCreds is a point system for doing good for the earth. If you do something good for the air, like ride your bike to school instead of driving, you enter it into AirCreds and you get points for it. And you can rack up points and you can later trade them in for prizes. And it's just a way to get kids thinking about the ways that you can break down this question of how do we save the air into actions that you do. And then we reward them for doing those.
We'll be right back with Teens Recycle TV with our guest, Miss Lesley Carter, but stay tuned.
By playing RecycleTv, I learned that I don't have to put my old broken bike in the trash. Instead, I can help the environment and recycle it. Learn what you can recycle. By playing RecycleTv, I'm playing.
We're playing and it's fun, fun, fun. We're playing too.
RecycleTv, the Go Green game that should be in every household, school, and business. Order yours today. www.recyclingworkstv.com.
Welcome back to Teens Recycle TV. I'm your host, Mikayla Wiseman.
And I'm your co-host, Brandy Roberts.
And if you're just joining us, we're here with our guest from the Clean Air Campaign, Miss Lesley Carter. Hi. Miss Lesley brought us this little box and from the Clean Air Campaign, and this represents 1 pound of pollution. And every time you drive a mile in your car, you're putting this much pollution into the air.
That's right. So think how much we can reduce it if we ride together, fewer cars.
Oh, I have a question. I forgot. What are AirCreds?
AirCreds is a point system we sort of invented. It goes along with our teen blog website, On Air, blogonair.org. Actually, the very awesome t-shirts you guys are wearing right now are from On Air. And AirCreds is just a credit system for doing things that are good for the air and good for the earth. If you ride your bike to school instead of driving, or if you take public transit, you can enter that into the tool and it gives you a certain number of points, and you add them up and you get onto our leaderboard and you can compete with other people who are also earning AirCreds, and eventually you can trade those AirCreds in for prizes. So we really want to encourage people to think about the actions, the specific actions they can do to help the air, and measure out their impact on the earth that way.
Good information, Miss Lesley. How did you get involved with the Clean Air Campaign?
Well, I live carless in Atlanta. I don't own a car at all. I gave my car up about 4 years ago. It actually broke down. But I looked at my options at the time and I thought, you know, I have an opportunity here to see if it's possible to live without a car in Atlanta, which is a very car-driven city, and to try and make a good impact on the world that way and reduce my little corner of air pollution. So I just started taking MARTA everywhere, and I just really feel like I got to know the city that way. And just the ways that you have to be creative to get yourself around when you don't have a car, it really opens your eyes to a lot of things about how cities work and how transportation works and what's possible when you don't think it's really going to be possible. So I had that all in my mind, and then when I came to the Clean Air Campaign and saw an opportunity to spread this message, particularly to kids, I just felt like it was a really good fit.
That's fascinating, Miss Lesley. Where can people get more information about Clean Air Schools and the On Air blog?
Well, about Clean Air Schools, you can find all that on the Clean Air Campaign website, cleanaircampaign.org, and there's a big yellow Your Schools tab that you can click. It takes you to a place where you can get lesson plans and resources and ideas, and also a form to register to be a Clean Air School. And when you're a Clean Air School, we make a lot of toolkits and resources available to you. We have these no idling, young lungs at work signs that we'll send you to put up in your carpool line so that people remember to turn off their engines when they're sitting there. And all of that's available at cleanaircampaign.org. For On Air, it's blogonair.org, and that's where you can access the blog that's written by teens, and you can create your profile and start earning air creds and learn about all the cool stuff that's going on.
What do we do if we want our schools to get involved with the Clean Air campaign?
You should find a teacher that you feel, or a parent that wants to head it up, someone that you think will really care about it enough to head up the project, and then go with them to cleanaircampaign.org, and then you can put in all your school's information, and it makes you a Clean Air school. Let's see. There are some schools, every school makes the programs their own, and we have tons of stories of things they've done. A lot of science classes do these projects where they measure air pollution in the air, like over several days, and that's always really popular. But it's not limited to science, this question of air pollution. We had a teacher who had her students plan a no idling protest as part of a lesson about conflict resolution and talking things out rationally. So it can be applied really to any subject. It just takes someone who's motivated to figure it out. We also have, I've mentioned our blog at blogonair.org. We have teens writing for us, and we have some pretty smart kids writing there. One of our bloggers, Zoe, made a video blog rather than writing. She made this whole music video about kids at her school walking and biking instead of driving, and how they felt about it and why that was good for the air. And it was really popular. We've shared it all over Facebook and Twitter because we loved it so much.
Nice, Miss Lesley. Now, what do you do for the Clean Air campaign?
I work in the schools department, so all the Clean Air schools stuff we've been talking about, that's my team, and I do communications for that team. So running the On Air blog that I talked about, making sure that it's up and running, recruiting student bloggers. I do that all the time. I also make sure that the Clean Air Schools message is getting out there when we email teachers and parents about our programs, or when we may update our Facebook group. I handle that stuff around the office.
We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with Teens Recycle TV.
Daddy, recycle this, recycle this.
Where you learned that from, son?
Recycleopoly, Dad.
Play Recycleopoly and learn why and how recycling works in a fun way. Order yours today, 770-893-8861 or www.recyclingworkstv.com.
And we're back with Teens Recycle TV. I'm your host, Mikayla Wiseman.
And I'm your co-host, Brandy Roberts.
And here, our guest today is Miss Lesley Carter with the Clean Air campaign. Hello, Miss Lesley.
Hi.
How are you? Miss Lesley, I was wondering, how can you become a blogger for On Air?
That's a good question. You actually go to blogonair.org and click on the tab that says Apply to be a blogger. And if you're between 13 and 18 and care about the environment, anybody, that's all we want you to do. We don't even need you to be writing if that's not your thing. If you want to make video blogs, if you want to make photo blogs, if you have something creative to do and you care about the environment, we'll find a place for you.
That's fascinating. I might just do that. Also, is clean air a problem just for cities?
No, it's not at all. Cities get a lot of our attention because they have a more dense population, but air pollution is unhealthy no matter where you are, and especially in communities that have schools, there are always lots of cars and buses coming in and out of schools. That's always a problem of air pollution concentration. So it's a problem for everybody. It's something everybody should be concerned about.
Thank you, Miss Lesley.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you again for being a guest on our show today.
You're welcome. It was great to be here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Join us next time on Teens Recycle TV. I'm your host, Mikayla Wiseman.
And I'm your co-host, Brandy Roberts.
And remember, recycling works.